Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Hey everybody, good afternoon to people in the Midwest. Good afternoon to people on the East Coast, and good morning to everyone on the West Coast. This is TNT Joe-Fi Tech News that Jerome Ortega finds interesting. How's it going this afternoon? Today, April 21st? April 21st. It's a cold day here in Chicago. Don't know why it's not feeling like spring yet. Hopefully soon. So I do want to get started this morning or this afternoon. Depends where you are, I guess, anywhere around the world. But I do want to talk about a couple of things today. I actually forgot to pull up another article that I will pull up right now. Just bear with me 1 second. Again, hope you guys are doing well today. It is day... God, who knows how many days it's been in quarantine now. I think it's been at least 3 weeks. I'm starting to lose count. And I think the only thing that keeps me remembering what day it is doing these streams. It's the only thing that's been helping me give me some normalcy in this kind of not so normal routine. Okay, let me throw this article in here because I want to talk about this a little bit later. So the first thing I want to talk about today are deals. Deals when it comes to the iPhone SE, deals when it comes to the OnePlus 6T. I think I have another deal for that as well. I see 6 in here. Psychological. Yes. Hi, 6. Psychological. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? How you doing? So let's start off with this stream and talk about getting an iPhone SE for a really good deal here. Now, the iPhone SE is already a really good deal at $399. And this article, so this was actually shared in my group chat that I have with a couple tech guys. And this article from CNET is talking about the new iPhone SE that you can get for $184 this coming Friday. So it's kind of $184, but we'll get into that. So again, this article from CNET says the new iPhone SE can be yours for $184 this Friday. Visible's upcoming deal beats them all. Here's what you need to know. So they're talking about Visible. Now, Visible is an MVNO, it's a carrier, and I think they're under Verizon's network. I believe so. So let's go on with this. So, interested in the new iPhone SE? Mark your calendar. This Friday, April 24th, so 3 days from now, it goes on sale everywhere starting at $399. Before you pay full price, however, check this out. Visible will sell you the iPhone SE for $384 and then give you a $200 MasterCard credit, bringing your net price down to $184. So, not only is it cheaper than the $399 that you would pay at, Apple's retail website, but this one's going for a little bit cheaper, and they're going to give you a gift card along with it. This makes this the best deal I've seen, and by a wide margin. Remember, the sale starts Friday. Visible runs on Verizon's network, like I had just mentioned earlier, and offers just one mobile plan, unlimited everything for $40 a month. There's no contract on that, though you do have to subscribe for at least 2 months in order to qualify for the credit. So I was looking at the terms, and we'll kind of go over those terms if you're kind of looking at a new phone, but this could be a good deal. It just depends on if you're willing to port your phone number, because I don't think it allows for a new line in it. But again, we'll go through that. Speaking of which, although Visible's MasterCard promotion terms currently indicate you must spend at least $400 to get the $200 rebate, normally it would be only $100. Anything under $400, you would just get a $100 rebate. A company representative confirmed that the iPhone SE deal will include the higher amount, which is good. That's good to know. That was the first thing that I thought of when they said, well, if you don't spend $400, then you're only going to get a $100 credit. And then considering they were selling this phone for $384, then I thought that's how they were going to do it. But it looks like not. So that rebate comes in the form of a prepaid MasterCard virtual account, which is basically an electronic debit card you can use for online purchases. You can't use it to buy, say, food at the grocery store or gas at a gas station, but otherwise it's as good as cash. One other thing to note, while Visible's $40 plan is already pretty competitive, the carrier's party pay option drops the per person rate to just $25 when you sign up with 3 others. So that might be even a better deal then. So instead of paying $80, you would just pay $50 for two months of service using them, hoping that you would stick around with them. Any 3 others, friends, family members, people you met on Zoom, and so forth. It's like a family plan, but with a very broad definition of family. Meanwhile, if you decide after 2 months that you want out, you can take the iPhone SE elsewhere. I've been assured repeatedly that the phones are sold unlocked. So that was another question that I had in my head was, okay, if I buy this phone from Visible for $384, what kind of contract am I going to be locked into? But apparently no contract, except you need to be on their plan for 2 months, which you could do for $25 a month, unlimited everything, which is actually not a bad idea at all. If you can find 2 other people to sign up with. Actually, it makes me wonder if I should get this deal, sign up for the 2 months, and if I can find 2 other people to do it for $25 a month, maybe just keep that line. I don't know. There are iPhone SE pre-order deals you can get right now, but to my thinking, it's worth waiting a few days to get this. Although you have to pay $384 up front, you get $200 of it back after 2 months. You're not roped into any kind of extended lease or contract, and you can actually use the phone for as little as $25 a month. If there's something not to like here, I haven't found it. So I went to Visible's website just to check and see how these deals work. So again, here you can see it's starting at $384. So cheaper than the $399 that you would get, straight from Apple. And on the terms here to get, this $200 prepaid MasterCard virtual account, what it says here is, because I was trying to look at these terms to see if it was actually worth it. So it says purchase a device over $400 and you'll get a $200 prepaid MasterCard virtual account. Now, again, in that CNET article, they checked with a representative and said that the iPhone SE deal for $384 would qualify. So you would still get this $200 virtual account or prepaid card, whatever. And then you just sign up with their network for 2 months. See, the only thing here is it's saying that you have to port your number. I don't know if you can't use a new number for it. I'm trying to see here where it says that, because I remember seeing that it says you do have to port it. Must have active service on day 32 after activating the new device or activating a new line of service. So maybe you could do a new line. I'm not sure. Really, I don't know. But again, it's something worth looking into. I think when Friday rolls around, I might actually look into it and see if I can do this, because the more I'm looking at it, I'm like, I think that's not a bad deal at all, especially if I can find 2 other people to do it with and only pay $25 a month. I might do it. I might do it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So I see someone else in chat here, Sarang Itadwar. Did I say that right? Hey, Sarang, how's it going? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. Appreciate you stopping by. Have I seen you in here before? I don't know if I have, but if I haven't, welcome. Glad you can make it. Yeah, right now I'm just talking about this iPhone SE for $184, because if this is legit, if this deal is legit, instead of, we're saying here right now, hey, the iPhone SE is a great deal at $399. Well, here's the iPhone SE at $184. That is like, as long as this deal is legit, this is hard to say no to. It really is. I see Days One in here too. That really does sound like a good deal overall. It really does. I am really, now that I've actually sat here and kind of looked at these terms, so you're paying $400 or you're paying $384 outright. And then you would pay, if you can find 3 people to do this party plan. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mic. If you can find 2 other people to do this party plan with, then you just pay $25 a month for the service. And then you get a $200 prepaid gift card, which isn't really a bad deal at all. God, I'm going to talk to a couple people today and see if they might want to like jump in on this, if it's eligible. I wonder if I wonder if you could buy the 128 gig version as well, because that would even be a better deal. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, it does sound like a really good deal. And if I do get this, I'll let you guys know. And actually, it wouldn't be bad to test out the Visible Network, because I don't use Verizon. I use T-Mobile, and I've used T-Mobile for almost a decade. The only difference here is, see, I don't want to port my number because I'm on a really big family plan. I'm on like a 20-person family plan, and we all pay right now on T-Mobile. We're grandfathered in, and we all pay $21.26 a month. $21.26 a month after taxes for pretty much unlimited everything. They gave us unlimited everything for a certain amount of time, but even if that wasn't there, I know we get 10 gigs of data with rollover, and I use nowhere close to that. I don't think anywhere or anyone in our family plan uses that. But yeah, again, a great deal. I see Mint Arcade. I'm in. Hey, welcome, Mint. How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you guys stopping by. And then again, for everyone else, if you're new to the stream, say hi, say what's up. I'm friendly. I think we're all friendly here. Just talking tech and, going through this stuff. So yeah, a good deal. Let's move on forward though. And there's this other deal that I saw right now. This article is from Droid Life, and it's talking about getting a unlocked OnePlus 6T for $280, which is really a pretty good deal. Now, I have some thoughts about this, because even though I like the 6T, it has a couple faults on it, and I think there's a better option, but for a brand new one. So, well, here's the thing. Okay, well, let's go over this article. So Woot has a deal going on for OnePlus 6T unlocked devices. So again, an unlocked device starting at only $280 for, quote, new open box. So usually these new open box units it would be, I think, for example, if I got my iPhone SE and I kept it for a week and I returned it, I think it might be like that. I think that's what they call new open box units. I could be wrong, but fairly new is my guess. I still think they're probably lightly used if you want to if you want to be honest about it. If you want a sealed fresh unit, the price is still only $299, which is actually a really good deal. So this is from Woot. You can get a brand new unlocked OnePlus 6T for $299. That is a hard that's a hard deal to not recommend to people if they're looking for a new phone under $300. That's really not a bad deal at all. I do have a couple issues with the OnePlus 6T. Still a good phone, but we'll kind of get into that. Let's just go into this deal here. Considering the going price on OnePlus's website for this same device is $349, now is a good time to grab a 6T if interested. According to the product description, these are A6013 models, T-Mobile, unlocked to work on nearly any US carrier with exception to Sprint. So if you want it to run on T-Mobile, AT&T, or Verizon, that should work with no issues. But if it's a T-Mobile version, does it mean it's going to have that weird T-Mobile splash screen at the beginning? I hope it doesn't, because I have a carrier locked. I'm that guy that always says buy unlocked, buy unlocked. Don't buy a carrier locked phone. I did when the 6T came out because they were giving like crazy deals for it. I think I was able to trade in an LG G6 and I got like, I don't know if it was $300 or some really good deal on it. So I traded my LG G6 in that I never used anyway. And I got the carrier locked version. And then when I had it, I was like, God, it has a T-Mobile, like that pink splash screen right at the beginning. It has a couple T-Mobile apps that it put in there that I wasn't really happy about. But it still works really well. So for specs, again, really what I'm saying is I hope it doesn't have that T-Mobile bloatware on it, because it's saying here it's a T-Mobile version. I don't know. For specs, these are 128 gig storage units, complete with 8 gigs of RAM, a Snapdragon 845 processor, 3700 milliamp hour battery with fast charging, in-display fingerprint reader, dual camera system, and a 6.4-inch AMOLED display with a baby teardrop notch. At $280, it might be hard to find something similar, which is true. That's a really good price to get it at. Now, here's how I feel about it. If you look at Woot's website, you can get a quote new open box for $280, or you can buy a brand new one for $300. Great deal for either of the two. Now, here's the thing is I owned a OnePlus 6 and I owned a OnePlus 6T. I've had both of those. And I like my OnePlus 6 better. One, because I had that cool red color, which was like my favorite OnePlus 6. But two, it also had a rear fingerprint reader, which is still one of my, if I had to pick having a fingerprint reader, I would rather have that than an in-display one, or at least the in-display one on the OnePlus 6T is not that good. I mean, it's serviceable. It works most of the time. It's also kind of weird though, because when I use my OnePlus 6T, when I use it like at night, the fingerprint reader is like really super bright and it's kind of harsh on the eyes. That might be a small complaint, but it's one where like if you're in the dark and you're trying to press on that thing is going to like blare you in the face with its fingerprint reader. And it's not the most accurate and it's not the fastest, but it works. But I would have preferred the rear fingerprint reader on I do prefer the rear fingerprint reader on my OnePlus 6 over that. But I don't think you can buy a new OnePlus 6 anymore. I mean, if you could, maybe on Swappa, but I don't know. I think a used OnePlus 6 right now with the 128 gig version, 8 gig RAM is around this price. It's around $275 for a used version. Again, still a good deal. I don't know. I'm not if I could, I'd get the OnePlus 6 version instead, but for a brand new one for $300, like you can't really go wrong. It would be I guess the camera is not the best. Camera's decent, but it's not the best. And I guess we could talk about the differences between the 6 and the 6T since we're here, if we're talking about that. The OnePlus 6 still has a 3.5mm headphone jack. The 6 had a LED notification light. I think the difference here, and then again, like I said, the 6 also had a rear fingerprint reader. Now on the 6T, you get a smaller notch, right? It's not as big of a notch on the 6T as it is on the 6. But again, you don't get the headphone jack. You get this in-display fingerprint reader, which isn't the best. It's okay. It's just not the best. And you get a bigger battery. That's the plus on getting a 6T. You get a bigger battery in it. I forget what the sizes are, but it's a bigger battery. So anyway, good deals for a lot of these. So I see other people in the chat here too. I see other people trickling in. If you guys haven't had a chance, I might just go over the other deal real quick again, because I don't want you guys to miss out on it if you're looking for a good deal. I see Brian in the chat here. What's up, everyone? What's up, Brian? How's it going, man? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. I see Mike. Mike says, what up? What up, Mike? How's it going? How you doing today? Happy, what is it? Tuesday? Happy Tuesday, I think. I see George in here too. Great deal, in my opinion. Yeah, no, it is. It's a great deal. That's a hard deal to pass up, especially for that price. Okay, so real quick, if you guys are just coming into the chat, I just want to talk about this again really, really quick. You can get the iPhone SE this Friday for $184. I'm bringing this up because this is a really good deal if you're able to cop this. So to get this deal, you have to sign up on Visible for 2 months. But if you can sign up with 3 people for 2 months, it's only $25 a month for unlimited everything, which is, I think, an awesome deal. So how it works is you pay $384 for the phone. They charge you $384, and then they give you a $200 gift card. If you guys need the link for it, let me know. I'll show you guys later, but I think I'm going to take advantage of this. Even though I already have one coming in, I might just return that one, get this one, and then if I can get this phone for $184, why not? Then I'm going to brag about this for like the end of like right now, my goal is to get the best deals on phones and tell people and be like, well, I got it for this much at this price, either brand new or used, and here's my experience with it. So on until end of time, right? Then I can talk about it, give you my real experience, give a real consumer review on it. Anyway, take a look at this, guys, because I think this is a really good deal if there's going to be enough stock for it. Okay. And if you guys if you want more details on how I felt about it, replay, just watch it later. Okay. So let's move on. So actually what I want to talk about, I actually haven't read this article yet. Jesus Christ, this website has 8,000 ads on it. How are you supposed to? I thought Tom's Guide was pretty good with ads, not like Jesus Christ. It's okay. Sorry. Okay, so this article from Tom's Guide is titled "The Pixel 4a is going to beat the new iPhone SE." Here's why. I would like to know. There's going to be a lot of debate over this, and this is something I said yesterday and the first time we talked about it. This is going to go in circles until both of these phones come out, until people are able to both properly review both of these units. I'm actually looking forward to it because this is going to bring back the wars of a budget or a mid-range price smartphone and give people what they want, because I've said this many times, competition is really important in not only this sector, but to just tell people who are selling phones at $1,000 or whatever that no, like we don't want to settle at those prices. Those prices are not good. Let's give us something at a reasonable price, and we'll open up our wallets to you then. So this article is talking about why the Pixel 4a is going to be better than the iPhone SE. Actually, I haven't read through this. I would love to see his thoughts and kind of give you my thoughts and see if I agree. Because again, this is what's important when it comes to tech like this, is that we have a conversation about it. People should know what's going on. And people should know like what's the best deal you can get for your money. That's important. A good cheap phone like the Pixel 4a is about more than a fast processor, which is true. I agree with that. The new iPhone SE is finally here, and all of a sudden people have seemed to forget about every other phone. Honestly, you would have thought the new budget iPhone, which is comprised of parts of the iPhone 11 Pro, iPhone XR, and largely the 3-year-old iPhone 8, was actually the upcoming iPhone 12 with 5G in tow and a design that's actually new. But no, the second generation iPhone SE, as Apple is calling it, shoehorns Cupertino's. Oh, God, I lost my spot because I made that bigger. That's too big now. Cupertino's. God damn it. Cupertino's premium A13 Bionic processor into a 4.7-inch body that technically dates back to 2014 when the iPhone 6 launched. And for the record, I don't think that's such a bad thing. Apple has always rewarded customers' reverence for their older fan favorite designs, which is why it continues to sell the iPod Touch and kept offering the iPod Classic with its dated disk drive and click wheel all the way until the end of 2014. So we can talk about that real quick. We can talk about it's going to be very divided. There's going to be that half that says, no, I like that nostalgic design. It's okay that the bezels are really big on the front, on the top and the bottom, and they're okay with that. And then there's the other side that's saying, you guys are Apple fanboys. Who would like that design? Why would they update it that way? Like, you're only buying it because it's Apple. This is a weird conversation to have. And I think the reason that this comes up is I think it goes both ways. I think people might not, I mean, people say that, yeah, I'm fine with that design, and they might be, but let's be real. Those bezels are really outdated. They really are. Apple could have done something to refresh that, right? They could have maybe made those bezels a little smaller. They could have gave it a more modern design up front, but they didn't because that costs money. They already have everything laid out. They already have the blueprints laid out. All they had to do was change the guts, right? Just change the internals, save money that way, put a better processor in there, update the software, whatever, and just get it running for 2020. And that's what they did. And that's how they're going to make some money off of it. Right. And then I side with the other group too. And I'm just like, well, they're taking the easy way out. And yeah, I mean, this is a marketing business perspective. They're still a business who's trying to profit and make as much as they can. But like at $400, you got to compromise somewhere. And again, you speak with your wallet, right? If you don't like that, then take a look into this A71. We were talking about this yesterday, a Galaxy A71, or the deal I just talked about, the OnePlus 6T for $299, brand new. That's a great deal for $299. Is it going to have, well, I don't know how good the camera is going to be on the iPhone SE yet. Is it going to be, that's actually not a bad test. Is the iPhone SE going to have a better camera than the OnePlus 6T? It might. I hate to say that, but it might. But performance on the OnePlus 6T is going to be amazing. It's still going to be a great phone. You're going to get a better display out of it, right? A much bigger display. You'll get a really great battery too. I mean, I have a OnePlus 6T. Fingerprint reader is not the best, but still a good deal. There are a lot of good deals you can still get at the $300, $400 price point, and it's nice to see that now we might not have to wait a year. Like, here's an option that you can get in 2020. Anyway, so let's continue on. Nevertheless, there's a growing sense that with the iPhone SE now reborn, every other cheap phone, including the upcoming Google Pixel 4a, is or will be dead on arrival. Our own Mark Spoonhour says Apple's latest proposition has made the Pixel 4a irrelevant. And then his opinion says, I don't think it's that simple. In fact, I believe Google inspired Apple to up its cheap phone game. Yes, I believe so. When Google released the Pixel 3a, they really revolutionized that you can have a cheap phone with a great camera. And now Apple is taking that same approach, and instead they're saying, hey, you can get a great phone with an awesome processor, with awesome performance, and maybe a good camera. We don't know yet. We don't know if this camera is going to beat the Pixel 4a or even the Pixel or the Pixel 4. When I get this phone on Friday, hopefully it comes Friday. This whole coronavirus thing, I just don't know if shipping is going to be on point. It might not be, but I cannot wait to test a camera on, with the iPhone SE versus my Pixel 4. I can't wait to test it on my iPhone 11 Pro and just see how good this camera really is, because then I can give better thoughts. I can have a better conversation and tell you guys, hey, no, this is going to perform better. We'll see. We'll see. So, but don't count Google out. Let me finish that first part here. I don't think it's that simple. In fact, I believe Google inspired Apple to up its cheap phone game, and now Apple is dishing back at Google. And the net result is great for you because it means customers have more and better options in the $400 price range than they've ever been enjoyed before, which is very true. Again, this is why it's important that competition is always there. That's why it's important these companies don't gobble each other up and then create these big mega companies. And it's good to have competition. That's why, like, I want to start talking about these other brands who are making other phones, because let's bring that competition out. Let's make these companies really give us the best that they can for the right price. But don't count Google out. This game of one-upsmanship will continue, as it always does in the phone business, and there are plenty of reasons to believe the Pixel 4a could snatch the crown back from Apple. Here's why. I hate when they say here's why. It's just, you don't have... just such a clickbaity thing. The Pixel 4a is actually a new phone. The iPhone SE's main claim to fame is the fact that it has the iPhone 11 Pro's processor for less than half the price, right? I don't mean to suggest that isn't a big deal. Actually, it's practically unheard of these days to see a $400 phone with flagship caliber silicon, especially now since OnePlus turned its back on buyers on a budget. that's a really good jab at OnePlus right there. The A13 Bionic also means the iPhone SE will continue to stay fresh and receive iOS updates long after most similarly priced Android models stop receiving support. That's also a good point to bring up, is the fact that here's a new phone that's going to get updates for a pretty long time, much longer than probably any Android phones that come out. But when I'm sitting here telling you guys, well, hey, here's an iPhone SE, or you can look at this iPhone 6T or iPhone 6T, OnePlus 6T, that was released, what is it, a year and a half now? Longer than that? I can't remember. You can get that for $300, but then that's another point to bring up, is the fact that, you know, you might not get updates for much longer from it. Are we still getting updates on the OnePlus 6T? Does it have Android 10? I think it does. I don't. I have one and I don't even remember right now. Shows you how much or how often I use it. But a processor is only one part of a phone, and an important part though it is. And in this age, when critics are turning their noses up at every phone that has any bezel at all, we can't ignore that the new iPhone SE is astonishingly dated on the outside, with its diminutive 4.7-inch screen and a forehead that goes on for a country mile. It's very true. It is a very outdated design. Now, to make my position clear on this, I don't think big bezels make a bad phone, and any of my Tom's Guide colleagues will tell you that I never shut up about the need for more compact, unobtrusive handsets. But I also feel it's more than a little hypocritical to lampoon every Android phone that lacks an edge-to-edge display and let Apple skate away scot-free with the excuse that the iPhone SE is a love letter to those classic home button iPhones of old. If it's important to you to have a smartphone that looks like it was released in this decade, you shouldn't have to pay a premium for it. All the renders we've seen of the Pixel 4a thus far indicate it's going to be a charming looking device. I agree. I like the look a lot better than the Pixel 4 right now, or at least the renders that have been put out, with Google's typically playful approach to colors and a hole punch front facing camera, evocative of flagships that cost many hundreds of dollars more. Another point. I looked quickly in chat. Days One says 6T has Android 10. Thanks, Days One. I don't know. My head is a little out of it. If it's important to you to have a smartphone that, sorry, we just read that. Also, I suspect the iPhone SE's 4.7-inch screen will be too small for some. It will be. It's funny because I've been using my iPhone 11 Pro as my daily, but I've switched to my Pixel 4, and I've been noticing my Pixel 4 is kind of a lot smaller than I would like, which is weird because I've always been a compact phone person, but I've been having a lot of trouble typing on the keyboard with it. I keep fat fingering stuff. I don't type as quickly as I can with the iPhone, with my iPhone 11 Pro. I was mentioning that to my chat or my tech chat, that my little tech group chat that I'm in, and Will had mentioned to me it's just because Google's keyboard isn't as good as Apple's. Now I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's why I'm fat fingering, but when the iPhone SE comes, we'll see, because that's going to be a much smaller screen. So we'll see if it really is Apple's keyboard or not. The Pixel 4a's camera will rival the iPhone SE's. Here now, this is actually what I'm interested in. I haven't read this, so let's see what they have to say. Part of the reason the Pixel 3a was such a success last year is because it bucked the trend of cheap Android phones with horrid cameras. Very true. Google found a way to replicate the computational photography tricks on its flagship Pixels using a more ordinary blend of a chipset and optics, and the results spoke for themselves. If you look closely when comparing similar shots from Pixel 3 against the Pixel 3a, you might have seen some better dynamic range from the pricier phone here, or more accurate bokeh there. But the Pixel 3a delivered 95% of the capability of the Pixel 3's camera for half the price, and there's no reason to expect the Pixel 4a won't continue that trend. Or that Google won't be able to pull off that magic a second time. I mean, they better. People who bought the Pixel 3a are expecting that the Pixel 4a will have, as you know, at least be on par with the Pixel 4 in terms of camera quality, photo quality, video quality. I mean, that's the reason people bought the Pixel 3a. At least that's my assumption. I'm assuming. Why would you buy that phone otherwise? I think it has a great camera. Well, I mean, yes, there are other factors in there. You know, we're talking about stock Android and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, I think people bought the Pixel 3a for its camera. The iPhone SE will also benefit from a clever single lens rear camera of its own, thanks again to the A13 Bionic's ability to crunch machine learning tasks in its sleep. But like we've heard about the Pixel 4a shooter, the sensors and optics underpinning the iPhone SE's camera module won't be anything to write home about. iPhone SE buyers will get a 12 megapixel f1.8 aperture wide angle lens believed to be plucked from the iPhone XR, and that's it. I don't think it's from the iPhone XR, guys. I think it's from the iPhone 8. I think it's still going to get the old iPhone 8 camera, but, and I've talked about it in a past stream, it's going to be using the iPhone 11's image signal processor. So it's going to use the processing power from the iPhone 11's, the algorithm to process these images using iPhone 8's optics, which again, I'm really interested to see how this turns out. So we'll see. The iPhone SE will also, I already read that. In other words, this camera battle is going to be won with software, I'm assuming is what they meant to say, not fancy oversized sensors and a plethora of lenses, which is also true, which is also something I'm getting sick of these like huge sensors, because at first I thought that was the reason that these pictures were, going to be better. But like, I think a lot of these phones are proving that these bigger sensors aren't really doing much else right now, or at least it's not like worlds above in terms of photo quality. I've looked at a lot of results from these higher end phones, and I mean, still the iPhone 11 Pro seems on top of almost everything else at this point. And even then, while the iPhone SE will benefit from Apple's own impressive suite of post-processing schemes like Smart HDR and semantic rendering, it won't be able to take advantage of night mode like the iPhone 11 series can. The Pixel 3a could churn out night side shots, and so the Pixel 4a looks to at least have that advantage over its rival from Cupertino, which is also a very good point. The Pixel 4a still has more useful features. As I mentioned in my iPhone SE versus Pixel 4a specs comparison, what's interesting about this particular face-off is that Apple and Google have taken markedly different approaches to building $400 phones. As a result, they've prioritized very different aspects of the experience. Again, at least the way I see it, the quick, like dirty, like synopsis here is both the same price phones, Pixel, better camera, iPhone, better performance. Right? Yeah, that's what I meant to say. But we won't know because we don't have both of these yet. This is all just speculation until we have both of these devices and we can really test it out. But a good measuring stick is when the iPhone SE comes out and I'm able to test that camera with the Pixel 4, because this Pixel 4a is not going to, I mean, it should be on par with the Pixel 4, right? And this is going to be a good measuring stick to say, hey, this is how the iPhone SE is probably going to compare to the Pixel 4a when it comes out in terms of camera quality. Also video quality. I'm wondering how good the video is going to be on both. I'm thinking about it. We'll see. So, the iPhone SE has that much vaunted performance advantage, as well as the ability to charge wirelessly. Yeah, I forgot about that as well. And IP67 water resistance. It's also crafted from metal and glass. So build quality, also an objectively more premium mix of materials than the Pixel 4a's likely polycarbonate unibody design, which I'm sure will still feel very nice in the hand, though it won't be nearly as exquisite. But the Pixel 4a has lots of exclusive perks of its own, perks that I'd argue are more valuable than wireless charging. Google is likely to fit an OLED display to the Pixel 4a. Yes, I agree. I would rather have a better display than wireless charging. I'm not the biggest fan of wireless charging. I can understand if you do prioritize that. I'm not saying one is better than the other. That's my personal preference. Like I would rather have a nice OLED screen than bezels on the front, on the top and the bottom. That's me. So let's see here. Which should deliver graphics, videos, and photos far more captivating than the iPhone SE's dated LCD panel. You directly interact with your phone screen more than any other aspect of it, and so I'd argue the Pixel 4a's advantage in this regard is more than a nice-to-have gimmick. The Pixel 4a also supports fast 18-watt USB PD charging with the very adapter that comes with the phone. Conversely, while the iPhone SE can fast charge, it certainly won't with the stock in 5-watt brick Apple ships with the device. So yeah, I mean, that's also a good point, but if you do have a fast charger, then you should be able to fast charge with Apple's iPhone SE, right? Or do you need their specific fast charging brick? Because I have Apple's fast charging brick, so I will test it out when I get the phone, but yeah, I don't know. Granted, the iPhone SE's battery is almost certain to be around 2/3 of the size of the power pack inside the Pixel 4a, so the limited charging speed won't sting quite as painfully as it might on a bigger phone. On the other hand, the Pixel 4a's larger battery could help it last longer on a charge. And then there's the Pixel 4a's real ace in the hole, something Google evidently lacks the courage to deny. Its budget buyers, the headphone jack. That 3.5mm port is especially important to the kinds of customers Apple and Google are trying to court with these handsets, many of whom likely have less to spend on wireless headphones. The Pixel 4a is expected to let you use those old trusty wired earbuds the way they were meant to be used. The iPhone SE will force you to reach for a dongle, though Apple probably hopes you'll just drop $159 on AirPods instead. We can go back and forth on this 3.5mm headphone jack debate. I don't understand why they take it out. I mean, if it was there already, why not just leave it there? But you know, if they're going to try to force you to get wireless, again, this is a debatable topic. I've already told you guys how I feel about it. I do use wired earbuds or a wired headset, but it's really only when I'm editing video, just so I know everything's on point, everything's like audio synced up properly. That's the best way to do it, at least from my testing. But for the most part, I do use wireless earbuds every time I work out, and that's usually the only time I put earbuds on, or when I'm trying to not bother other people. I would sit here and tell you, yeah, I use it also all the time when I'm taking public transportation, but that's not a thing right now because it's not the safest way to get around at the moment. So anyway, yeah, but that is a good point. You're going to have a 3.5mm headphone jack on the Pixel 4a. You're not going to have it on the iPhone SE. Okay, so in a sense, it almost doesn't matter which of these two very compelling cheap phones ultimately ends up being better. That's because anyone who's reading this and happens to be eyeing either an iPhone SE or Pixel 4a likely made up their mind about which to buy long ago. That's also a fair point. Your preference for iOS or Android and how those operating systems fit into the larger ecosystem of products you own is going to determine which of these phones is better for you. And that's really the most important question to answer. But in our hypothetical world, where we can compare devices on their merits alone and block out all context, the Pixel 4a looks to be at least as attractive a package as the iPhone SE. It may not have the iPhone's raw power, of course, but it surely won't be a slouch either. I reckon it'll be fast enough for most people. And if you can live with the Pixel 4a spec disadvantage, in exchange, you'll get a more modern design, nicer display, bigger and faster charging battery, a potentially better camera, and last but not least, a headphone jack, or so the rumors tell us. So yeah, I feel I I'm at this point where I just have to wait and see. The way I feel about it now is yes, you're going to get a great camera from the Pixel 4a, and we might really see also an equally great camera on the iPhone SE, but it might be lacking at night. That might be its hindrance there. But again, the iPhone SE is just going to be the outperformer when it comes to just pure processing or whatever you do with it. But it also might be a non-factor for a lot of people who are light users who aren't doing anything heavy. And I'd assume people who are spending this much money on a cheaper phone probably aren't doing anything super heavy on it, right? Maybe they're not big gamers. Maybe they're more the casual person who just wants to go through their socials, and they're not even going to notice that Snapdragon 700, what is it, a 30 that they're putting in there? And that might just be sufficient enough. So we'll see with a better display. I don't know. It's a topic that can go in circles for a long time, and it sucks because we don't have them right now. But once we do, then we can get a better idea of how well both of these phones are going to go. You also have to think about your prioritization on stuff, right? IP67, like water and dust resistance. Do people really care about it? Are most people going to make a big deal about it? I don't know. Wireless charging, that's another thing. Performance, like camera, a wireless or a headphone jack. It really depends. It really depends. Okay, chat. Hey everybody, by the way, thank you for making the stream. I'm just going through chat now, just seeing what's up. I see Will in here. Will saying hi to everybody. Will, what's going on, man? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Let me go through other chat. Brian says the Pixel 4a will beat the iPhone SE on stills, night sight, and portraits, screen, design, and battery, but the iPhone is going to beat it on build quality, processor, video, and convenience feats. Yeah, I feel very similarly, Brian. I really feel very similarly with a lot of that. We can also argue that the ecosystem is probably better on Apple. Maybe. Usually. Maybe. I don't know. Six says, so the iPhone SE is not really budget if you get the AirPods. I mean, that's a fair enough point. It is. I guess what's your other option, right? To buy a dongle then, or just use a dongle you've had in the past. I don't know. That's kind of a hard assessment. I mean, I see what you're saying and I know what you mean. But it's like, what if you just wanted wireless earbuds anyway? Because I mean, I use them on my Pixel 4. I don't know. I see your point though. I see your point. Yeah, Brian says Apple just wants people in their ecosystem. Six says by any means possible. Very true. Days One says I just wished their 4A would come with a 128 gig option. Yeah. Did they not? They didn't have that for the Pixel 3A. I guess not, right? Even on the XL, they didn't have that option. It was just 64 gigs. Yeah, I would love a 128 gig option. Again, I talked about this before. Is I just feel like it's the first time I've actually thought that 64 gigs was not enough for me. I think I've hit that point now where I need at least 128 gigs. So okay, let's move on here. Oh yeah, it's more iPhone stuff. I do want to talk about the camera. But real quick, before I do switch over, guys, if you're new to the chat or you're new to the stream, welcome. Appreciate you guys stopping by. If you guys haven't already, please like the stream. Helping by liking helps, I think, in the algorithm somehow or somewhat. But either way, I do appreciate you guys stopping by. What's up? Thanks for making it. Talking chat. Let's engage. Let's have a conversation. Feel free to ask me questions. I do try to check chat in between stories. So that's it. Thanks for stopping by. So this article from CNET is talking about iPhone SE single camera. It's no iPhone 11 Pro, but specs are surprisingly close. Sure, the new iPhone SE may have only one camera compared to the 11 Pro's three, but that doesn't mean it won't take great shots. Apple has taken the wraps off the latest version of its iPhone SE, the smallest, most affordable iPhone it's possible to buy right now. The new iPhone has various features found on the iPhone 11 Pro, which is more than double the price, including the A13 processor and wireless charging, but the SE comes with just a single camera on the back. So how will that one lens compare to the 11 Pro's three? So I don't want to go into too much stuff we've already talked about, but it says here the SE single camera is most similar to the 11 Pro's standard zoom lens. Both have 12 megapixel resolutions, wide f1.8 apertures to let in lots of light, 6-element lenses, optical image stabilization, and sapphire crystal covers. It's the additional cameras Apple sacrificed in order to keep the cost down. This article is talking like it's going to have the iPhone 11 main sensor or just the main sensor, right? But again, like from what I've read is it's, I believe, iPhone 8 optics with iPhone 11 image signal processor software that processes these images, that uses that AI to produce what images come out when you take the shot. Again, we don't know for sure. If you're really into photography and love the idea of shooting those ultra wide cityscapes, the new iPhone SE may not be the best phone for you, but don't think it won't be able to snag some great shots. The iPhone 11 Pro standard zoom lens. Okay, I don't want to talk about the iPhone 11. I just want to talk about what is going to be on the iPhone SE. So they're talking about the specs here: 12 megapixel f1.8. What is this article? Just fluff? There isn't shit on here. They're just talking about what you don't get, and we've talked about all of that already. So again, we won't know until it comes. Just disregard this article. I guess it's just a bunch of bullshit. So sorry. Okay, let's switch over. Let's go into Android here. So this article from Fandroid is titled "Forget the OnePlus 8. The Nubia RedMagic 5G is Forget the OnePlus 8. The Nubia RedMagic 5G is now available for $579. How do you not notice two is's here? This is the headline of the article, and it's I think I talked about Nubia yesterday. I don't know much about Nubia. Do you guys have any of you guys actually owned one of these Nubia phones? Is this something that's even in your radar? Because this isn't something I've really seen much of. This is something that I want to kind of get into, at least some other brands here, and see if they're even worth our money. So this past week, OnePlus has gotten a lot of attention with the launch of the OnePlus 8 and the 8 Pro. But if you're looking for a flagship tier device on the cheap, the new Nubia RedMagic 5G is a better option. He's just plain out stating it's a better option. Starting at $579, which is, yeah, that's what, $120 cheaper, right? Than a OnePlus 8. The RedMagic 5G sports a Snapdragon 865 chipset, 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, and a 6.65, I'm assuming that's inch, AMOLED display with the world's first 144 hertz refresh rate on a smartphone. So an even bigger refresh rate, which makes that better than what is coming out on the OnePlus 8 Pro. Since the phone is built from the ground up for mobile gaming, it also features LPDDR5 RAM. So again, that's on par with the OnePlus 8 Pro. UFS 3.0 storage, active liquid cooling with a built-in fan. Wow. Okay. For incredible thermal management, remappable shoulder triggers. So definitely we're talking about a gaming phone here. 5G, Wi-Fi 6, and a 4,500 milliamp hour battery so that you can play all day on a single charge. Those are right up when it comes to specs on the OnePlus 8 Pro. Nubia has also upgraded the camera system when compared to last year's RedMagic phones with the new 64 megapixel Sony IMX686 sensor for its main camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera, and a 2 megapixel macro camera. This IMX686 sensor is the same sensor that's in the OnePlus 8 Pro, if I remember correctly. Let me check that really quick just to make sure. The OnePlus 8 Pro. Sorry, I'm seeing if it's the same. I actually am curious now if it's the same one in here. I believe it is. OnePlus 8 Pro. Sorry, guys. I just like I'm curious and I need to know. So I'm pulling up this article from Anantech because it's gonna bother me until I know for sure. Um, no. So OnePlus 8 Pro is using the IMX 689. Okay. So it isn't the same sensor I thought it was. I just wanted to make sure so I could call it out if it was. So okay. Hmm. Okay. Let's move on. So it isn't. Oh, that's it. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. So yeah, maybe the camera's not going to be the best, but it has specs that rival what the OnePlus 8 Pro is offering. And then again, we're talking about 579 versus we can talk about the OnePlus 8 that's 699, or we can talk about the OnePlus 8 Pro that's 899. And again, one of the big features of the OnePlus 8 Pro is its screen and its 120 hertz refresh rate, and this has 144. We can talk about, well, it's probably not going to beat it in its camera department. The camera's probably going to be good, but it's probably not going to be great. I did go to its website to see. This color scheme is crazy too. I mean, this like kind of screams gamer phone on it. So RedMagic 5G, 144 hertz. Again, LPDDR5. Oh, you can get a 12 gig version of it too. You know, the Snapdragon 865. It has active liquid cooling, a 4500 milliamp hour battery. So they're calling it super night mode. Um, that's a crazy looking phone. I mean, it's different. 240 hertz touch sampling rate. It has an in-display fingerprint sensor. I don't know. Have you guys messed with one of these? 579. So can I buy this in the US? I can buy it right now. How much is this 12 gig version? 649. So for 650 bucks, you can get the 12 gig version with 256 gigs of internal storage. And I think the OnePlus 8 Pro at 12 gigs and 256 is 999, right? Or God, I should do my homework before checking. I'm checking now just to see. OnePlus 8 Pro. Okay, I don't want the stupid intro. Here, I'll just share it with you guys so you guys can see what I'm looking at. So the OnePlus 8 Pro, yeah, 12 gigs and 256 gigs of storage is $1,000 versus this is $350 cheaper. Again, the camera probably won't be as good. Does it have wireless charging? It probably won't be as fast as, you know, it's not going to have the 30-watt wireless fast charging on it. But then again, in order to take advantage of that, you have to spend the extra $70 or whatever. I don't know. I just thought I brought it up because it's not something I see often. Really haven't seen that. So I don't know. It looks interesting. It really does. Okay. Let me go to chat here. Just let me scroll up so people drop in. They know what we're talking about. Yeah. Have you guys owned a Nubia? Is this something that is like even again on your radar? I don't know. Okay. So earlier up in chat, Vazikos, hopefully I'm saying that right. Night sight is also important. Night sight is way important. It really is. It's just weird because night sight this year just wasn't up to par with night mode on the iPhone 11 Pro. But yes, night sight's very important, which is going to be interesting when I do a photo comparison test with the iPhone SE and the Pixel 4 at night, because I think night sight will probably obliterate it, is my guess. I could be surprised. You know, Apple could surprise me, but we'll wait and see. But yes, you're right. Also, welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. Jorge is on here too. Jorge Omar Gonzalez. I want to test a gaming phone, and Nubia is definitely the cheapest option. Yeah, that's a super cheap price for a phone. I also like that it has shoulder buttons. I mean, I'm not a gamer on a phone, but I don't know. It's kind of cool to have that. Welcome to the stream, Jorge. Appreciate you stopping by. Oh, okay. So Days One says here it's a 1080p screen at 144 hertz. Is that right? When I go to display, Yeah, it doesn't even tell me. So you're probably right. It's 1080p. It's not a quad HD. Okay, so that's a good point too to make. So yeah, it might be 144 hertz, but it's not at the highest resolution. Jorge says, what is it with the macro sensors? I have the macro option on my 7T and I have never used it. Yeah, I don't know either. It looks like a lot of phones are starting to add that in. I think it depends on the user, right? I I have a macro lens. I have one of those moment macro lenses, but I never pull it out. But it's also kind of an inconvenience to carry an extra piece of equipment with me. If it was already on my phone, maybe I'd use it, but it depends. I mean, maybe I would find new ways to take shots of like insects or flowers. I mean, it's not, and I'm not trying to make fun of that. I would probably do that once in a while. It's not photography that I've ever um really done much of. But yeah, I don't know who uses it. I'm sure there are other use cases for it. I mean, I don't want to knock it, but I also understand why some people knock it, especially when you add so many different camera lenses on a phone. Like, I would rather have one main lens on a phone be the best lens that you could put together instead of just having a bunch of like mediocre lenses. Does that make sense? I would rather have one that's just a quality performer overall. At least in my opinion, that's how I feel. Vaziko says throw Gcam on this thing and you're good to go. You're probably right. I'm sure Gcam is going to make a big difference. I'm sure it will. Yeah, Mint Arcade says even if it's the same sensor, still it's going to depend highly on the algorithm. Very true. We've known for a while now that a lot of AI is what makes a difference in a lot of these phones. Days One also says it's missing some LTE and 5G bands and aptX HD. I'm glad you're pointing these out because again, these are things that I'm not thinking about right now, especially when I'm looking into it. So appreciate you stopping by and dropping knowledge. Thanks so much, Days One. Okay, so let's see. Vazikos also says, glad to catch the stream live. Glad you could make it. Appreciate you stopping by. Jorge also says 1 plus 17. Oh, you guys are asking questions. My bad. Yeah, no wireless charging. Yeah, I see that there too. Lonky Games. Yo, Jerome. Lonky Games. What's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for stopping by. How you doing? How's it going? Yeah, guys, again, if you guys are new to the stream, please, if you haven't already, please feel free to like the video or like the stream. Helping like these streams apparently helps me in the algorithm. Hopefully it has other people find my stream so we can like come in here, talk as like chat, have a community, engage. I think that's important. And it's nice to always hear different perspectives because I think the one thing that we miss in the whole technological like community, the tech community is a lot of times we're in here and people are just like fighting with each other about phones and Android this and it's like, dude, like let's be real. These companies, they're just trying to make as much money as they can from us. Let's kind of get together and talk about what this has and what that has and how much better we can. You guys know what I'm saying. Like, let's have a real community where we can talk about phones and not like bite each other's heads off because it's not team iPhone, right? It's not team Android. It's, hey, like we all have different needs and wants. Like, let's understand that and let's appreciate that. I think I know that sounds weird because it's just tech, but I mean, it makes sense. It does make sense. Okay. Moving on, I don't have much left going on with the stream here. I only have a couple more stories. This actually might be my last one. We'll see. So this article from CNET is titled T-Mobile's 5G network will get a boost from Sprint Spectrum. T-Mobile is forging ahead with network upgrades, but Sprint users who bought a 5G phone last year will need a new device to take part, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's nice to see that they're already taking advantage of Sprint's network and they're going to try to deploy it better so that we have better coverage. I think that's a great thing, especially for me. I have T-Mobile. So T-Mobile completed its Sprint merger less than 3 weeks ago amid a pandemic, but the carrier isn't letting the coronavirus put its plans on hold. After announcing on April 1st the first use of its newly acquired mid-band spectrum in Philadelphia, T-Mobile now plans to redeploy airwaves in parts of New York in May as part of the latest expansion of its 5G network. In turning on the 2.5 gig spectrum in New York, T-Mobile will have a first city to showcase its 5G vision. So for you guys in New York who has T-Mobile, this is going to be great. What is it, May, right? After announcing on April 1st, T-Mobile now plans to redeploy airwaves in parts of New York in May. Okay, so May. It doesn't say when in May, but the carrier turned on higher frequency millimeter wave 5G in parts of the city last summer before adding its low band, wider reaching 5G network nationwide in December. On Tuesday, T-Mobile will also expand the low band footprint to include the Detroit, St. Louis, and Columbus areas. Whereas the millimeter wave network has fast download speeds but severely limited outdoor coverage, and the low band much better coverage but not noticeably improved speeds compared with 4G LTE. The mid-band spectrum allows for a combination of both with significantly faster speeds compared with 4G for service that works both indoors and outside. So it says here, T-Mobile's vice president of radio network technology and strategy said the carrier is seeing download speeds of nearly 600 megabits per second in Philadelphia in early testing of its mid-band 5G deployment. God, can you imagine your phone downloading at 600 megabits per second? I still don't know what you would need all that bandwidth for, but that's pretty crazy. I mean, I say that now. I mean, in the future, you never know. It might be something that's a lot more worthwhile. I think I always have arguments with people when we talk about download speeds and upload speeds. And when someone's like, you don't need that much, it's like, dude, don't take away that technology from people. Saying stuff like that is what hinders progress. So while we might not need it right now, imagine what we could do if we could always download and upload at speeds that quickly. I mean, I think that's a fair enough assessment. That's why I was so excited when Google Fiber first came out, because it was asymmetrical speeds, 1 gig down, 1 gig up, and at $70 a month. And I thought that was the greatest, thing that came out. And a lot of people argued with me. It's like, nobody needs that fast of speeds. It's like, you say that now because you're not taking advantage of that technology. That's what happens when people take away stuff from you. You're just like, oh, I'm fine with it. I'm fine. Like, no, take advantage of it. That's a great and it's unfortunate because, again, like, these big companies like Comcast and like Charter and whoever these Spectrum, I can't remember all the names. They're all the same. They try to limit us. They try to take away because they know that they can just turn that dial up a little bit and charge us more money. Anyway, it's nice to see like those are crazy speeds. Will we ever use them? Maybe not now. And it's still not really that widely adopted, but you never know in the future. So most of T-Mobile's 5G devices, last year's OnePlus 7T Pro 5G McLaren and Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus 5G, as well as this year's line of Samsung Galaxy S20 5G phones, LG 50. There's too many letters and numbers here. LG's V60 ThinQ 5G and the forthcoming OnePlus 8 will be able to tap into T-Mobile's mid-band 5G network as it rolls out. Sprint's Galaxy S20 5G phones will also be able to start using the T-Mobile's 5G networks later this month, with the support for T-Mobile's low-band 5G being enabled on the Sprint devices with a recent, already released software update. I wonder how much better our network's going to get now that, Sprint and T-Mobile are, doing this whole merge together. I'm not the biggest fan of these big merges, right? And these big companies merging together, but like, I look at the plus side of it as well. And it's like, okay, well, our coverage is going to be better, I think, in terms of it. Not that I have had much issues with T-Mobile's network. It's been pretty good for me for many years, except when I'm in real like country areas, then I have issues. But now adding Sprint onto it, it might be, it might have much, a positive effect from it. So those with Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra 5G or Plus 5G from Sprint or T-Mobile will be able to take advantage of all three flavors of T-Mobile's 5G network when available. Those with the other devices will be able to use the low band and mid band 5G, but not the millimeter wave. It says here, so an N for Sprint 5G and its early 5G phones. Although Sprint's Galaxy S20 phones will be brought along for the network upgrade, older Sprint 5G phones from 2019 will not be getting updates to enable access to T-Mobile's 5G network. Instead, those devices will remain capable of tapping into Sprint 5G in the markets where it's available for as long as it's active. To make the mid-band 5G spectrum work better with its other 5G networks, T-Mobile is taking the already deployed Sprint 5G and refarming it, a process that shuts down the existing network and redeploys the spectrum. Interesting. This process will take place in New York as well as over time in the other 8 markets, plus parts of Miami where Sprint's 5G service is currently live. The carrier says that it will turn off Sprint's 5G network in New York City shortly before turning on its deployed version. As with other Sprint 4G LTE phones, these 5G devices will from last year will still be able to use Sprint's 4G LTE service and take advantage of T-Mobile's 4G LTE when Sprint's network isn't available. Okay, so that's it. Just wanted to kind of touch base with that, see where Sprint and T-Mobile are sitting right now. But yeah, again, I'm not the biggest fan of these big companies merging, but on the plus side, if we get better network coverage, I'm not going to complain. I'll take that, right? I'll take that at least. So real quick here, I see Brian with the $1 super chat. Brian, thank you so much. Brian, you got to start putting something in there. I mean, you don't have to, you can leave them blank, but like put a message. Let me read a super chat. I mean, I guess that's hard anyway, because I pretty much will read any chat that comes in here when I can. But Brian, thank you for the support, man. Thank you for going that extra mile. Thank you for always being in chat and just engaging and chilling out with everybody else. I appreciate it. Thank you for the support, man. Thank you so much. Okay, guys. You know what? I only have 2 stories. I might as well go through them. I'm feeling good. So let's read through the rest of these. This article from Android Community is titled Nokia 9.3 PureView to get under screen camera and 120 hertz display. Actually, this looks pretty nice. At least, I don't know if this is an actual, this is a Nokia 9.2, or at least that's what the description says here, but with no notch, no punch hole. The most anticipated flagship, Nokia 9.3 PureView, has been in the rumors more than any other phone lately. Has it? This is the first time I'm really hearing about it. I mean, not that I haven't seen it before, but I don't think it's the biggest news around right now. We recently heard it would be unveiled alongside Nokia 7.3 at Q3 launch event. Now we hear when it does roll out, it could have an under-screen camera and 120 hertz refresh rate. It's already known that this successor to the Nokia 9 PureView would have a 4,500 milliamp hour battery, will pack a Snapdragon 865 processor, and run Android 10 out of the box. According to the latest reports coming in through Nokia Power User, Nokia 9.3 PureView could support a camera under the display to dupe the punch hole in trend. I would love to see that. I mean, again, I would just love to see anything that's not a punch hole design or a notch. I said yesterday that I prefer a really thin bezel on top instead of a notch or anything at all, but I'll take an under the screen camera too, or under display camera. Chances are the company has found the latter stable enough in its testing and is now introducing it for the first time in a smartphone. If Nokia 9.3 PureView comes with an under-screen camera on the front, it would be the first commercial smartphone to do so, which makes the wait for this flagship even more fascinating. And then 120 hertz refresh rate. So HMD is reportedly using Pure Display V3 technology to deliver highly impressive display, one of the best on any smartphone. That has yet to be seen. The phone has previously reported 6.29-inch Quad HD Plus P OLED display supporting 2K resolution. And then it would have a 5-camera setup featuring a 108 megapixel sensor from Samsung with a 64 megapixel main sensor from Sony. Interesting. Colors of the new Nokia phone are also in discussion. So yeah, a pretty high-end Nokia 9. I mean, there's not much other specs here. They're not talking about like what kind of chipset, right? Did I miss that? No, Snapdragon 865, 4,500 milliamp hour battery. Doesn't talk about RAM or anything like that. Is this running stock Android, right? Are all Nokia phones now running just stock Android, or am I wrong in saying that? I also don't know what this phone is going to price at, if it's going to be super expensive or what. But yeah, who knows? George says here, I have the original PureView. More temptation in the near future. Oh well. So that original PureView, was that? So I've been out of Nokia's circle for a long time. the original PureView, was that a high-end smartphone? Is this their flagship phone or no? Um, I'm just curious. And was it super expensive when you got it, or did you get a deal on it? I don't know. Um, huh. And again, also, does it rock? Does it do these Nokia phones rock stock Android? There's so much I don't know about Nokia. If maybe there's a good Nokia out there that I could like test and play around with, I'd give it a shot if something was worth it. Brian says, "Oh, the Nokia looks nice, but how much money and how are the cameras?" Yeah. Also, I'm wondering as well. Vaziko says, "I'm trying to limit my excitement because Nokia 9 PureView disappointed me." That's not. I don't like hearing that. Yeah, I have no idea. I would get my hands on it if it had stock Android to mess with it, or if there was a good price on it. Again, for people who are new or don't know me well, my budget right now for any phone is $500, shipped. Like if it goes over in price for taxes or whatever, I don't want it. $500 is my limit now when it comes to phones. Tasmania has a Nubia RedMagic Wivedine level 1 at EU. I'm sorry, Tasmania. I'm maybe I'm not completely understanding. Maybe you can rephrase or someone help me out here. Has the Nubia RedMagic? I'm not sure. But Tasmania, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. Appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, feel free to ask again, unless chat knows what he's trying to, ask, because I'm really not sure. But thanks for making it, man. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. So we'll talk though. We'll talk. George says the original was stock. So it was stock Android. Yes, their flagship. Okay. So how much do you think this is going to go for? This Nokia 9.3? Is this going to be $1,000? You think less than that? I don't know. That seems like way too much money that I really want to spend. Mint Arcade says, if I remember correctly, Nokia also rocks close to stock Android. That makes me happy. I like seeing that. George says the first one had awesome daytime photos, bad video, and night photos. Well, thanks. I mean, that's good to know. I mean, obviously that was their original one, so maybe it's changed over time. So we'll see. Vaziko says the 9 PureView used 5 cameras to capture a nice raw image, but it wasn't really competitive in other aspects. That's good to know. And so it looks like they're doing another 5 camera setup again, maybe to use that same kind of technology. We'll see. Okay, last article. And it's Motorola, something that I haven't really talked about much, but this one kind of made me laugh because in a world right now where we're talking about cheaper phones, this article from Droid Life is saying that the Motorola Edge Plus will cost $1,000 at Verizon. For you guys who don't know already, I am not the biggest fan of Verizon because I don't like a lot of their proprietary stuff. I don't like them slapping their logo on every phone that comes like in their vicinity. I don't like the bloatware that they put on carrier locked phones, except for Apple, because Apple has so much power that they won't let anyone do that to them. But yeah, here are the specs. So I haven't gone through this yet. Looks like a great phone with like no bezel, just a punch hole here, and then thin bezels on the top and bottom. Motorola will announce, but am I excited for it? No, I'm not. It's a carrier locked phone. It's $1,000. There's not much for me to like about it. Motorola will announce the Edge Plus tomorrow, their first flagship phone in a couple of years. I love how this is their first flagship phone, but it's going to be carrier locked, so you can only get it on Verizon. Like, no, thank you. I'll pass. That will try and compete directly with the big players like Samsung. See, now I think a lot of people are trying to go to this trend where the $1,000 phone is it's the thing. But now that iPhone has decided to release their iPhone SE, it's going to bring some of these players back down, right? And now we're going to have some big players playing the $400 phone game. And I love that. That makes me really excited. The phone will apparently spare no expense with their top tier specs and a $1,000 price tag, at least according to a blog post that went up a day early that has since been pulled. The new Motorola Edge Plus will sport a 6.7-inch OLED display with a FHD 1080p resolution and 90 hertz refresh rate. If you're going all out, where's the Quad HD? Why are we doing an FHD here? That's weird. Why would you also call it, will, will apparently spare no expense with top tier specs. It's not a quad HD display. Who's going to pay $1,000 for FHD right now? When you compare it to other phones at that price point, it has substantial quote edge to it. And yeah, this is the stuff that a lot of people complain about, yours truly included, because I don't like screens that curve that way because of accidental touches, something that I have always had an issue with curved displays that curve that much. And this one is like curving like crazy, I think, to the very end here. I feel like people have started to sour. Well, hold on. So hopefully you like curved displays, something I feel like people have started to sour on in recent years. Motorola is behind the game. They're behind the game. What are they doing? Motorola has added software features to the Edge to hopefully make it more usable, though. You will be able to tap on it to bring up app shortcuts and show off some sort of virtual buttons in supported games. No, thank you. Motorola is even going to let you disable the edges of the display if you want to only use the flat top part. That's interesting. Okay, I like that. That's neat. I still won't buy it because it's carrier locked, but that's a neat feature. Here I am talking about companies that need to like, that technology is important, innovation is important, but yeah, it's hard for me to I have to hate on those curved displays because I haven't used one that I have had a good experience with. Not one that I haven't had accidental touches for, but it's nice that you can turn that part off. But imagine breaking that display. Let's talk about that. Imagine you buy this Motorola Edge phone for $1,000 and imagine you break that display. Can you imagine how much that's going to cost to fix? That will be crazy to fix. I bet you that will be super expensive to fix a display like that curves that way, because it's not, it's not a known thing to use. It's not something that's going to be expensive. Okay. You'll also find 256 gigs of UFS 3.0. Why not 3.1? 12 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM, a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. So yes, very high-end specs with sort of fast wired, 18-watt wired, 15-watt wireless charging, a Snapdragon 865 processor, stereo speakers, Bluetooth 5.1. It comes with a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack and a triple rear camera. As for that camera, we're looking at a 108 megapixel main camera. It's a f1.8 aperture with optical image stabilization that will use pixel binning to produce smaller 27 megapixel images. Again, all of this technical jargon really it has no relevance to me until I can test the camera out and really see how they perform. You can throw this shit at me all day. You can say it has this and it has that. No, let me test the camera and let's see really what it's capable of. That main sensor is accompanied by a 16 megapixel ultra wide, 117 degree field of view and 8 megapixel telephoto lens or telephoto lenses. The front camera produces 25 megapixel images. The Motorola Edge Plus can record up to 6K video too. So very high-end specs for, again, a phone like this, but you're talking $1,000. You're talking carrier locked on Verizon. On a software front, the Edge Plus runs Android 10 and it is only guaranteed. Do you see this? On a software front, the Edge Plus runs Android 10 and is only guaranteed to see one major update to Android 11. One major update, that's all it gets. You're paying $1,000 and you get one major update. Who is going to buy this phone? Who is buying this phone? Why? Why is this a thing? I mean, the guy even says good grief. He's trying to be nice about it. Good grief. No, do not spend your money on this phone. I will tell you right now, do not waste $1,000 on this phone. According to that poorly timed post that I'm assuming was under embargo for tomorrow, Verizon has landed an exclusive on the Motorola Edge Plus. That's great, Verizon. You can have that exclusive because nobody is going to buy that. Nobody's going to buy that. That's not surprising since Motorola foolishly does this so often with Verizon. Ahem, Razer. Why Motorola? Why are you putting yourself in this weird corner where nobody's going to remember who you are when you do shit like this? Am I crazy? Should I work for Motorola and be like, hey guys, how about making some unlocked phones? How about making some really good phones like you used to make? What happened to you guys? Did Google take your soul away when they bought you out and spit you out to Lenovo? What happened? Who is making these decisions here? I mean, What is going on? As noted above, the price is $1,000 if you buy it without a contract, or 41 or $41 and 67 cents a month over 24 months. Um, $41.67 a month for this phone for 24 months. Do not buy this phone, guys. Don't spend your money on this phone. Don't do a stupid 2-year plan over this. This is so dumb. There are no plans for an unlocked model. Of course there isn't. There's no way it's Verizon or bust. That's what it says here. Since this is on Verizon and we're in 2020, the Edge Plus will support 5G and Big Red's 5G millimeter wave. Both companies will tell us tomorrow that it will be the fastest 5G phone on the market with speeds up to 4 gigabits per second. That's cool and all, but you would need to find a 5G millimeter wave city and block in order for that to happen. The chances there are well slim. $1,000, folks. You buying? No, nobody's buying this. This is a ridiculous phone at a ridiculous price under a ridiculous carrier. And it's probably going to have awful bloatware. And no, don't waste your money. I don't know what happened here. Jesus Christ. I have no idea. That's such a weird thing I didn't expect to read all of that in there. I really didn't. I didn't. Okay. That was my last article for the day. Mint Arcade says 2 relics of the mobile phone world flexing new flagships. Yeah. That 1080p at $1,000. Mint Arcade says iPhone SE just pulled the rug under everyone. They did. They really did. I mean, again, they're not the first ones to do it. We just talked about how Google, put out a $400 phone with, a great camera, and now Apple is doing it with their processor. They're kind of doing the opposite, but yeah, the change is coming. At least it seems like it's coming. It really does. I see Night Tech News here. V60 for the win. Night Tech News. How's it going, man? How you doing? Appreciate you stopping by. Welcome to the stream. Brian says 1 update. What the fuck? Come on, Motorola. Oh my God. Days One says Lenovo happened. Yeah, I guess so. That's what happened. Denelli, hello. We're missing an L there. Denelli, how's it going, man? How you doing? Just watched Last Dance, man. It's good. It's so good. It's so good. You're talking about someone who's from Chicago. I actually watched it for a second time. I actually watched it with my mom because when I was a kid and I was growing up in the 90s watching Jordan and Pippen and everybody, during that decade, we watched that growing up. Our whole family did, me and my cousins, and oh, my mom loved it too. And it was so exciting to watch it with her because it just brought back so many memories. Last Dance is excellent. If you guys haven't watched it, I mean, yeah, you probably have to be more of a basketball fan, but that was during the Jordan years. It was great. I'm looking forward to the other episodes already. Mint Arcade says, newsflash, Motorola released $2,000 super flagship that guarantees to work for 5 charge cycles. Oh my God. Yeah, I agree. Days One, Lenovo does seem to give Moto some leeway for the unlocked budget phones, but not for the ones approaching flagship. That's so weird. I don't know. God. Okay. All right, guys, that's about it for me today. Again, if you guys are new to the stream, I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you guys haven't already, please feel free to like the stream, like the video. Doing so, I think, helps me get found in the algorithm. I do want to thank everybody again for stopping by, even if you came in late. If you did come in late, come in and check out the replay. And then again, for everybody else who's new, I do stream Monday to Friday, 12 p.m. Central. So I appreciate you guys again for stopping by. I think that's it. That's all I got. Tomorrow, I hope there's going to be another handful set of news. If not, we can always talk. There's always so much to talk about. And I think I'll leave it at that. So guys, again, thanks so much. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for chatting. Thank you for the super chats. Always appreciated. Thank you to my patrons also. Oh, can't forget those guys who are supporting me monthly. All that means so much to me. Again, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Have a good one. Here comes the outro music. Later, guys.